Christian Boeving. That's me. We're training biceps, shoulders, and chest. I think you're going to find it enjoyable and extremely intellectually stimulating. The reason I got into bodybuilding and fitness in the first place, actually there's two reasons. I don't want to mention either one of their names, but they beat me up every day for $1.25 in lunch money. You know who you are. And the thing was, I read comic books ever since I was 5 years old. I've always been a comic book connoisseur. And when you're reading them, these comic book characters never get beat up for $1.25 in lunch money, but they save the kids who do get beat up. And you fantasize about this. This was before bodybuilding had become the thing that it is today. It wasn't in every gym. I didn't know who Lou Ferrigno and Arnold Schwarzenegger and Frank Zane were. I just saw the comic books. So I would read these fantasizing about becoming these guys. Superman, the Conan the Barbarian, the Punisher. The good guys never really interested me that much. I always liked the guys with a little bit of an edge. But my dad took me to see the movie Conan the Barbarian when I was 11 years old. And I'd never seen a physique like that. I didn't know that could happen. I didn't know that could exist. So I'm watching the screen, and I see him come on for the first time, and you're just mind blown. And I looked at my dad, and my dad was into bodybuilding and fitness, but he was taller than I am. He was 6'4", I'm 6'1", and he weighed about 200 pounds. He was in good shape. But to me, that wasn't superhero stature. To me, that was well-defined muscle. I wanted something beyond that, something I didn't know could be done. And I see this on screen, and for the first time, I say, this can be done. So we leave the movie, and I said, Dad, that's what I want to do. I want to do what that guy does. And my dad said, well, that guy's Arnold Schwarzenegger. I have some magazines at home, and I'll give them to you, and you can read about it. I studied for about a week and a half, and I came back to my dad, and I said, this is what I want to do with my life, Dad. I want to be a bodybuilder, and then I want to write articles for the magazines, and then I want to do television, and then I want to get into movies, just like that Arnold Schwarzenegger guy. And my dad looked at me, and he goes, forget about it, kid. Bodybuilding and fitness really did keep me focused on what I wanted. There's something called tunnel vision. I knew exactly what I wanted. I called it my master plan. I knew exactly the way I wanted to go through life. I knew the direction I wanted to go in. I had a clear-cut path of what I wanted. No matter what somebody told me, which was usually no, all no means to me is go to the next door. No, 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 no. Doesn't matter. Sooner or later, you're going to hear a yes. Anything worth having is hard to get. If it was easy, everybody'd get it. My personal routine is a pretty simple one, actually. Every day, I'll get up and I'll do 45 minutes or an hour of cardio before breakfast, because what that does is actually, as you sleep, like we just talked about, your body goes into releasing the growth hormone. Soon when you wake up, just think of yourself on ground zero. You go to the gym, you jump on the treadmill or the pre-core or whatever you're doing for cardio, and you basically start burning body fat from the second you get on that. If you go in the middle of the afternoon, you've already had a couple of meals, your body's already warmed up, you've already started kind of eating stuff and things like that. If you go in, say at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and you got up at 7 or 8, and you get on a piece of cardio equipment, it'll take 15 to 17 minutes before you even start to burn body fat. So if you do 30 minutes of cardio, you're really only doing maybe 13 minutes of cardio or 14 minutes of cardio. If you start in the morning, first thing, you get the full effect. Now, if you go in the middle of the afternoon and you're training first, and then you do cardio, you'll start at ground zero because you've already started to burn body fat in your workout, considering you're working out fairly hard. As far as my workout goes, I train each body part once a week, but I train it hard. I don't get in there and mess around. I want to walk out of the gym knowing I did everything. I want to walk out of the gym exhausted, knowing I couldn't have done one more rep on one more set. And if I could have, then I didn't do a good enough workout. But like I said, I train every day. Cardio is every day. If I'm getting ready for a photo shoot or a television show or a movie or whatever I'm going to do, if I need to be a little bit leaner, I'll add another 30 minutes of cardio to the end of my workout. So I'd go in the morning and do my hour. I'd go back later in the afternoon. I'd do my training session, which never lasts longer than 45 minutes. The Weider instinctive principle would be the one that I personally use. What that means is that if I go to the gym, I don't have a set schedule. I don't say Monday is chest, Tuesday is back, Wednesday is bicep. I'll go in the gym on Monday and I'll say, you know, what feels strong today? Chest? Let's go work chest. Back? Let's go work back. Now what I try not to do is if I work back on Monday, I will not work biceps on Tuesday, simply because with the back, as you know, I'm sure, there's a lot of pulling. You use your biceps a lot on Monday. So the thing is, if I go in on Tuesday and I want to work my biceps, I'm not going to get the full effect of the workout because my biceps aren't going to be as strong, because even though I didn't work them directly on Monday, I worked them indirectly on Monday because of the pulling. So I'll try to put biceps off till Thursday. So if I'm working chest on Tuesday, I won't work triceps on Wednesday because that involves the triceps. Those are the only rules that I actually use, but completely instinctive. And I just make sure to hit every body part somewhere throughout that week. I'll try not to train 2 body parts at the same time, unless it's calves or abs, which I'll train every 3 days. The reason for that is basically you're using your abs and your calves all day long anyway. You can take those body parts and actually work those more. They could take a little bit more punishment. Still water grows stagnant. You always need to have something to aspire to. And if you get what you want, you better have something else on the line. So be careful. Set your goals high. Always set your goals very, very high, but have a lot of miniature goals on the way there. So we're going to start biceps with a heavy movement, a basic movement. It's the barbell curl. The way I do my barbell curls is I don't use the straight bar. I use the easy bar. The reason for that is because of the natural movement of the wrists. Naturally, your wrists do not want to stay straight through an entire movement. They don't want to do this. They want to actually be here. If you hang your hands, they don't hang naturally like this. They hang naturally like this. That's why the easy bar curl was made. It's a natural movement. When you're coming up, it's able to peak the bicep. When you're coming back down, it takes the pressure off of the wrist. If you do this, and just don't even use a bar, just use your hands. How natural does this feel? When you come all the way down, it doesn't feel natural to be there. It feels natural to be there. So, I'm going to pick up the bar. We're going to get started a little bit. It's a little bit of a heavier weight. I just want to do this to show you the basic movement. I'll use a lighter weight when I'm talking to you to explain it all the way through. Very, very important before we even pick up the bar. Whenever you pick up anything, you pick it up with your knee, or with your legs, I'm sorry. You're going to squat into it. You don't ever bend over and keep your knees locked. You never do that. That'll tweak your lower back, put you out of the gym forever. Bend at the knees, come down, squat, pick up the bar. Back up. When doing this movement, you'll see a lot of people, and the way they do it is they roll their shoulders forward and they curl up like that. Well, the first thing that's doing is putting pressure on your shoulder, in a particular spot called your rotator cuff. Bad injury to get. What you always do is you roll your shoulders back. Your elbows are always back. It's a very short movement, very short. Start here, and you come up like this. That's it. That's all. 90 degrees. You don't need to bring it up your forehead. Just up, down. The reason you're coming all the way down with this exercise is it elongates the bicep. You want the bicep to tie in right here to the forearm. You don't want it to stop short. The reason it would stop short is if you're doing the exercise and you only come down to there, you're not getting the full range of motion. You'll see a lot of people cheat when they're using a heavy weight. And the way they'll do it is, for this exercise, in instance, they'll come up to here and they'll come down to here and they'll swing. Well, when you swing, you're going to put the pressure on your lower back. You're going to take the pressure off the bicep. If you're having to swing with the weight, it's too heavy for you. Use a light enough weight to where you can get the full range of motion. You always want to get 6 to 8 reps minimum, and that's for a heavy weight. I always try to get 10 to 12 personally. You come all the way down, you come all the way up. From the front. Remember, shoulders back, elbows back, up, down. Second most important thing, maybe even the most important thing, is the breathing. Breathing is very, very important, as we all know. Now, a lot of people will hold their breath, especially when they're using heavy weight. Never do that. Every rep is a breath. So when you're coming up with this weight, breathe out. You're coming down, breathe in. Number one, that ensures that you're actually breathing with every rep. Number two, that actually gives you the power you're going to need when you're using the heavy weight. Just that little edge you're going to want. So let's do a few. 1, 2. And you don't think you can do any more? Do 2 more. This is where a good spotter comes in. Make him get you more.